Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the most wonderful time of the year. CCIW men's basketball is back in action. We are here in King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College as we are getting set for a showdown between the number 21 ranked team in the country, the Wheaton Thunder, and the visiting Vikings of Augustana College. I'm Gabriel Woodowis. I'm joined by Dalton Van Esselson on color commentary tonight. We will be happy to present this broadcast on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network as the teams finish up their warm-ups. Wheaton coming into tonight's game with a record of 5-1. Augustana 1-4 so far on the year. Record is a bit deceiving. I think they are better than that mark, and they will always give Wheaton a tough test. At this time, we will throw it over to Abram, the in-house PA announcer, to take us through starting lineups in the national anthem, and we will come back in just a minute's time.
Tonight's CCIW matchup between the Augustana College Vikings and your Wheaton College Thunder. At this time, will you please rise for the playing of our national anthem? And now, the starters for tonight's contest. First, for the visiting Augustana College Vikings. Number 14, the 5'9" senior from Arlington Heights, Illinois, Matt Hanaszewski. Number 20, the 6' sophomore from Greeley, Colorado, Colton Gillingham. Number 24, the 6'4" sophomore from Arlington Heights, Illinois, Chase Larson. Number 32, the 6'3" junior from Rockford, Illinois, Tyler Knuth. And number 45, the 6'9" senior from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Daniel Carr. And now, the starters for your Wheaton College Thunder. At guard, the senior from Bowie, Maryland, number 3, Eddie Scott. At guard, the 5'11" grad student from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, number 13, Tyson Cruikshank. Also at guard, the 6'5" senior, number 22, Eli Considine. The 6'7" grad student from San Diego, California, number 23, TJ Askew. And number 24, the 6'4" junior from Columbus, Indiana, Nick Chavello. The Thunder are coached by Mike Schauer, assisted by John Tanner and Zach Baum.
Starting lineups have been announced. Teams in their huddles on the sidelines as we get set for the CCIW men's basketball opener. The first conference game of the year for both these sides. In fact, 4 simultaneous conference games going on in this midweek to kick off the conference slate. And this should be a good one. Interestingly, Dalton, the away team, won both of the meetings between these two sides last year. Wheaton know the damage that Augustana can do here on the road. What do you think the keys for the Thunder in tonight's clash is going to be?
Well, I definitely think the first key is to shut Daniel Carr down. He is a preseason All-American for sure. He's an all-conference honoree, and he's just a great all-around player. He leads the team in points and in rebounds, averaging a double-double, 21 points a game, 12.6 rebounds a game. And I definitely think Coach Schauer told the guys before the game, you know, they beat us twice last year. Let's show them what we're made of this year. So I think if they shut down Carr, it should be an easy win.
Well, Dalton just provided a great introduction for one of the two key players to watch in tonight's game, the other being Tyson Cruikshank for Wheaton, just named to the D3Hoops.com Team of the Week this week for his monster performances and the wins over Lake Forest and U Chicago. Interestingly, Tyson and Daniel Carr both hailing from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. That's a good basketball city right there. As we see the entry pass into Carr, turnaround jumper, leaves it just short. Ball scrambles out of bounds, and it will be a turnover in favor of the Thunder.
Viewers can anticipate that being most of Augustana's offense tonight, feeding Carr in the post and having him back down smaller. Considine will be guarding him and have that tall task tonight.
Basketball is a team sport, but Daniel Carr is a one-man wrecking crew, leading Augustana in multiple statistical categories, as Dalton pointed out a minute ago. We'll see what answers Wheaton can come up with him defensively. Here's Chavello at the top of the key, back to Cruikshank. Good defending right now from the Vikings. Here's Eddie Scott. Thought about the three, passes it back to Cruikshank, forced to settle for a long three. Good rebound by TJ Askew. Wheaton keeps the possession alive. Askew with the turnaround floater and the soft touch, and the Thunder are on the board first.
Besides Carr, there's not much size on the floor for Augustana, so I think Wheaton can dominate the offensive boards, and we saw Askew there get an easy little post up and a little post hook to start out the scoring.
Augustana swinging it around the top of the key, trying to find an open look on the perimeter. Here's a kick back out. Three low short from Matt Hanashevsky there. Big rebound for the Thunder defensively. Eddie Scott looking to push the pace and just misses on the layup. I don't know how that one didn't drop, but a good rebound right there on his own shot. Here's Askew driving into the lane. Beautiful move up and under Daniel Carr. 4 points for TJ Askew.
TJ Askew displaying his athleticism right there with the take, going up and then under on the other side of the hoop.
Little attempted floater right there from Tyler Knuth. Can't get it to drop. Augustana struggling offensively so far. Wheaton getting out in transition. Nick Chavello with the layup. And head coach Tom Jesse has seen enough. An early 6-0 run for Wheaton.
That's just a great look by Cruikshank right there. Tyson does a great job on the fast break to always keep his eyes up and see the guys cutting. And Chavello is definitely his main target out there as he's pushing the ball up the court. Chavello's always one of the first men to the other side of the floor, and he gets an easy layup there. And that's definitely the energy Shower was looking for as Wheaton came out 6-0 lead early.
Perfect start for the Thunder. They got off to quick starts in their two most recent wins against Lake Forest and U Chicago. That's going to be the key again tonight. He made a great point about the pass from Tyson Cruikshank. We know what he can do in terms of scoring. We know what his defense is like. I think his vision is underrated. He leads this team in assists for a reason. He's so good at finding his teammates, especially in those fast break situations. And as you said, Coach Shower couldn't have hoped for a better start here. We'll see if Augustana can come up with some answers offensively.
Good defense from Eli right there as he's trying to get Carr to fade away.
Doesn't let Carr have an open look at the hoop. Good defending right there from the junior. Pull-up jumper for Augustana and their first points of the night. That's Matt Hanashevsky getting his second shot to go.
Hanashevsky with a little good pullback right there to get Tyson on his heels and have an easy elbow jumper.
Augustana needed that basket coming out of the timeout. We'll see if Wheaton can keep up their offensive momentum here. Here's Cruikshank, long three, drops it in. Tyson is feeling it so far tonight.
Tyson is deadly from three and coming off screens, coming around on the wings. That's his money spot right there.
Daniel Carr with the long three. What an answer from the big man.
He's easily able to get a shot over at Considine there, and even with a hand in his face, found the bottom of the net.
A big player who can shoot the three ball is such a dangerous asset. Augustana is glad to have the preseason All-American in their ranks, coming up with the big answer right there to cut the deficit to 4. Here's Considine. Oh, big men dropping threes in all over the floor.
If Wheaton's going to break open a big lead, Considine will be a key factor on stretching the floor and finding his shot from outside early.
Great defense right there from Eddie Scott, blocking the pass initially, coming up with the takeaway. Now looking to get out in transition. Eddie Scott coast to coast. And another timeout from Augustana. Head coach Tom Jesse not pleased with what he's seeing from his team so far.
Scott is great at transition also. Both the guards are just so good in transition. Tyson, because he always has his eyes up and able to make an extra pass or find his on an easy layup. And Eddie Scott's just so strong when he takes it to the rim, able to, shed any contact and just easily finish as we saw right there. And Augustana is about to make an entirely new lineup with 5 subs coming off the bench, and Coach Jesse definitely wants to see something new for Augustana.
Yeah, when you find yourself with an early 9-point deficit on the road, I think that's understandable to try to shake things up, get a different look out there on the floor. To your point about Wheaton's guards, it's not always by design, but it feels like they thrive when the game's being played at 100 miles per hour. Eddie Scott and Tyson Cruikshank, 2 players with a lot of pace. They are really confident on the fast break situations. Wheaton thriving in that area so far.
Yeah, especially with big men like Askew, Considine, and Chavella, who all can run and keep pace too. That's just why they thrive so much, because it's not just Tyson or Eddie pushing the ball up the court. They have guys following them and able to get open looks at the rim or kick out threes.
We talked before the game about Wheaton's offensive struggles, especially during the Fund Classic a couple weekends ago. The last 2 games and the start to this one have seemingly banished those bad thoughts. We'll see if Wheaton can keep up their high-scoring ways as this game progresses. Augustana trying to find an answer here on their possession. That's Matt Hawkins with the drive, kicks it out to Evan Ambrose. Ambrose going around Considine, can't get the shot to drop in. Cruikshank with the rebound. Cruikshank hands off here to Considine, kicks it back out to Askew. That was a difficult pass. TJ Askew.
And they call block there, I believe, as Askew will earn himself a trip to the line. Yeah, it looks like the heels were just in the restricted area.
That may have been the reason for the foul call. Askew will be glad that one did not go the other way. 2 free throws coming up here. The grad transfer from Claremont Mudd Scripps, making his way across the country to play with the Thunder this year, drops the first one in.
And he's already had an immediate impact too. I mean, he averages 12 points on the year so far and leads the team in rebounds with 6 a game. And already tonight he has 5 points.
Just about a perfect start for Askew. That last free throw not included. Wheaton with a 10-point lead, though, as Connor Braun checks into the game for his first minutes tonight. That's a good drive and pull up right there from Anthony Cooper, but can't get the shot to go. Wheaton will bring it back down the other way. Here is Micah Schneiders into the game for the Thunder. Braun swings it around to Askew. Driving in on Nicholas Giliberto. Here's Cruikshank, long 3, and drops it in again.
You're going to learn you can't go under screens on Tyson right there as he makes them pay from deep. You see Ambrosi go under the screen. Tyson makes him pay.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Tyson Cruikshank was ready for the start of conference play.
Yes, he definitely had that taste in his mouth. He wants conference games and he wants to win them.
Here's Matt Hawkins, the 2 number 12s matched up against each other. Great defense right there from Schneiders, not letting Hawkins get the shot off. Thought about a difficult baseline jumper. They'll kick it back out to Hawkins. Shot clock winding down, 1 left, and he beats the buzzer. Big time 3 from Matt Hawkins.
That definitely gives the Vikings a sigh of relief right there as they're able to see finally one basket go through the hoop. Gets them back just to down 10 points. And a foul off ball here.
A foul underneath the hoop. Looks like it's going to be Anthony Cooper charged with that one. And Wheaton didn't do a whole lot wrong defensively on that last possession. That's got to be pretty frustrating to get the shot clock all the way down to 1 second and then still concede the 3 ball.
Yeah, but Wheaton's defense has been great by working their opponents down to that last few seconds in the shot clock. And this year they've been really good defensively, only giving up just under 60 points a game. Augustana giving up 80 points a game. So should be high scoring from Wheaton for sure. And we'll see if they can hold Daniel Carr and the Augustana Vikings to, under 60 points.
It would certainly take that. Makes winning games a lot easier when you're not giving up a whole lot of points to your opponents. Augustana do average more scoring per game, right at about 78 points per game so far. Wheaton at 75.5. This has the makings of a high-scoring contest. Turnaround from Askew. Can't get that one to go. Augustana looks to push the pace up at the other end. Hawkins with a nice carry. Here's Evan Ambrose out on the wing. Size disadvantage on Micah Schneiders, and we see why right there. Schneiders getting his hand to that one. He'll bring it down the other end, turning defense into offense. Can't quite get the end one. But the transfer from Eastern Illinois will earn himself a trip to the free throw line.
That's a good take by him. Snyder's has been struggling a little offensively, so it's good to get him to the line early to see if you go through the hoop. But when he gets hot, he can heat up and make some points quickly.
Yeah, he is a dangerous shooter for this Wheaton team. 19-8 now the score as the Thunder enjoy this early advantage. Pretty decent crowd here. Students still filing into King Arena. It's a cold Wednesday night. We're glad people are spending it indoors for this high-profile CCW matchup.
Yeah, hopefully the student section will continue to grow as the night goes on, and we'll hear some chatter from the student section and the Riken Rowdies.
Andrew Williams checking in for the first time for the Thunder as they now have a 12-point lead. This is the 146th meeting in this storied rivalry of these two CCW opponents. Augustana actually leads the all-time series against the Thunder, one of the very few teams that Wheaton will play this year that they can say that. They hold that mark over Wheaton. Here's Hawkins driving in on Chiavello. Great defense there from the junior. Once again, the shot clock getting low. Here's Hawkins, and once again, splashes it in with 1 second left on the shot clock. Matt Hawkins using every second available, but he is getting the job done for Augustana offensively right now.
Yeah, even surrounded by Chiavello and Braun, he was able to get a shot off and convert.
Considine swings it around to Cruikshank. Doesn't get this one to fall. 2 for 3 now from beyond the arc for Tyson. Augustana looking to get out in transition. 20-10, just under 13 minutes left in the first half. That's an errant pass, and it will be a backcourt violation. Turnover for the Thunder.
Wheaton's defense is really swarming, especially when the Vikings drive to the hoop. You see the defense kind of collapse and start to have like soft traps in the paint, and it really makes the Vikings, look for errant passes and try to kick it out, but really just discombobulates them.
Yeah, all of Augustana's points so far have been hard fought. Apart from that 3 by Daniel Carr, these have been heavily contested shots. Wheaton playing great defense early on. Here's Eddie Scott. Chiavello slips, does well to hang on to the ball there and find Considine to avoid the turnover. Considine driving in, and that'll be another block. And one more trip to the free throw line for the Thunder.
Great little jab step and then dribble to the rim. Another restricted area take by the Viking.
That's exactly right. I think that's why they gave that foul. It looked like his feet were set. I think if he had just been a few more inches outside of the area, it could have easily been a charge.
Augustana is getting ready to make another mass substitution. I think we're seeing this trend every 4 minutes. We saw it at the 16-minute mark, and now here at the 12-minute mark, we'll see them shifting in a group of 5 players about every single 4 minutes probably.
It's certainly a good way to get your starters some rest facing this early deficit. So we have a delay here, just mopping up on the court. And now Eli is ready to shoot these free throws. Wheaton shooting only 72.6% from the free throw line this year. Good, not great. There is room for improvement for the Thunders. We've seen them miss a couple already here tonight. Even with a comfortable lead on your home floor, you never want to give up those free points. Considine goes 1 for 2.
We'll see Considine matching up with Carr again. We'll see Hanaszewski with Andrew Williams all over him.
Chase Larson at the top of the key. Swings it over. It's Colton Gillingham on the reception. Now Daniel Carr with the long 2, and that's an air ball. Great defense by Eli Considine up in the big man's face.
The Considine's just so athletic and able to stay with really anybody on defense. He's able to guard every position, and this season we see that he's drawn the straw of guarding the big man on every team basically, and he's shown that he can do that really well.
Yeah, Coach Schauer is not going to give that job to anyone on his team. You got to earn it to play man-to-man defense on someone like Daniel Carr. Eli Considine living up to his reputation as a solid defender so far. Chiavello with the rebound right in front of him. Tempted to ask for a high five. I'll go against that instinct. Here's TJ Askew at the top of the key. Nice behind the back dribble. Considine with a little bit of room, but elects to go inside for Chiavello. Posting up on his defender, Nick with the turnaround, leaves it just short, and a rebound for Daniel Carr. Matt Hanaszewski And that's going to be a foul right near the baseline charge to TJ Askew.
Askew with a little bit of a poor close at the let up the baseline there, but Augustana will have the ball with 21 seconds left on the shot clock as Cruikshank will come back to the game for Andrew Williams.
Inbounds pass almost underneath the hoop. Nearly a 5-second call, but got it in bounds. Good acceleration right there from Hanashevsky. Nearly pulled away from Cruikshank. Layup underneath the hoop. And we have a stuck ball. Always fun when we get one of these lodged in the rim.
Everyone's applauding Tyson's athleticism there as he got up to get the wedgie out of the rim.
One of the two smallest guys on the floor, but still showing his hops.
Augustana with an early press, trying to find some answer defensively for Wheaton.
A good play by Cruikshank and Chavello to work their way out of that trap.
It's good to feed it into Askew. That's going to be there all night for him right there. So not too bad of a miss right there. Just left it a little short, but that shot's going to be there for him all night.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with the execution, but you can't fault the ambition there on that try. It's a jumper. Here's Daniel Carr. Looking for a teammate, swings it out to Gillingham. That's a tough shot. 2 big points right there from Chase Larson. Not a clear look at the hoop, but he made it work. Considine on the far side. Back over to Eddie Scott. He's got 3 men on him, and he loses it. Good takeaway right there by Hanashevsky.
Yeah, Scott didn't see Hanashevsky sliding in and having active hands, so he lost the ball there, and a first turnover for Wheaton tonight.
It's Tyler Knuth up against Askew on the perimeter. Thought about the long 3, drives inside. Another tough shot. Daniel Carr with the tap-in rebound that turns into 2 points for Augustana. I mean, how do you account for that?
It's hard. You know, it's hard for Considine to box out a guy who's that big and push him back, especially with the reach that Carr has. It's going to be a long night for Considine underneath the hoop.
Looks like a middle blocker in volleyball, just going up above the net, tapping it right back where it came from. Askew driving inside. That's a good answer for the Thunder.
I would love to see the offense work through that right there. You know, you pass it to Askew at the high post or at the block and just let him go to work and either kick it out for an open 3 or just get an easy layup like that every time.
Hanashevsky briefly double team, drives inside. Nice pull-up right there from the free throw line. And a big answer for Augustana, working their way back into this one. The deficit's back down to 7 points.
Yeah, Augustana is definitely not going to go away. They gave Wheaton trouble last year, especially at home with the win here last year. And Wheaton definitely needs to put them away early and not let them hang around.
Augustana, the only CCIW opponent to beat Wheaton here in King Arena last season. Thunder will be looking to exercise that demon, see if they can slay Augustana at home this time. Cruikshank with the long 3, doesn't get it to go. And Augustana with the chance to further cut into this lead.
Augustana was struggling to find anything on the offensive side, but now have gotten a few points in a row on the offensive end. We'll see a sub here. Schneiders and Braun will come in for Scott and Considine.
2 transfers. Braun coming from Northeastern University, both of them providing some good minutes so far off the bench for the Thunder.
Call on Cruikshank there on Hanashevsky. I think he just, hit him coming off of the screen.
Only the second team foul for Wheaton so far in this game. I think Coach Schauer will be pleased with the clean basketball that his unit is providing right now. That's going to be key to maintaining their lead down the stretch. Here's Larson over to Gillingham.
Once again, they're working them down to the end of the shot clock. We'll see if Hanashevsky can bail him out. And he does by drawing the foul on Cruikshank on the take to the basket. We see a little behind the back there. Cuts back to the middle of the paint. Goes up for the floater, and Cruikshank gets him on the arm.
I mean, if I was Augustana at this point, you are 2 for 2 on shots, maybe about to add 2 more free throws when the shot clock gets down to 1 second. I'm using every second of that shot clock, every possession I have. It seems to be working for them offensively.
That might be their offense. You know, they usually keep the ball about 30 feet away, and then they drive with 5 seconds left to go and either try to draw a foul.
They need the pressure of the last second of the shot clock to get them to find the target. First free throw was good from Hanashevsky. He'll try to add to it here. And he does. The lead is down to 5, the closest Augustana have been since the start of the game. Momentum firmly with the visitors from Rock Island right now. We'll see if Andrew Williams can get the Wheaton Thunder back in gear offensively as we approach the 8-minute mark of the first half. Conference opener for both of these teams.
And without Cruikshank, there's no true point guard on the floor, so it'll be up to somebody else to figure out how to control the offense and find their shot.
Schneider's with the Curry range 3, doesn't get it to fall, and that's a clinical rebound right there. Good hands by Chase Larson just to keep that one in bounds. Pull up 3, trailer. That was Tyler Knuth with the effort, and an important rebound for Wheaton, pushing the pace. Here's Chevello underneath. Offensive foul. Big call there for the Vikings. We'll see a look on the replay. Yeah, they're going to charge it to, that was TJ Askew. And he's looking for an explanation there on the call, but certainly heavy contact underneath the basket. And that's a break for Augustana defensively. That's
an unfortunate call for Wheaton that just kills the momentum that they had on that fast break. And now only up 5 with Augustana having the ball. The momentum is definitely with the Vikings.
Great look inside. Blocked at the rim by Chevello. The ball will stay with Augustana, which Wheaton doesn't like, but that was a big-time play underneath the hoop from the junior, just getting a finger to it.
Chevello was almost put on a poster there, but able to get out of dodge right there.
You got to be really confident when you're going up against a big guy underneath the hoop that you're going to get a piece of it, and he did just that. Tyler Knuth denied just before dropping that one in. Here's Matt Hawkins back into the game for Augustana. He's already come up with a couple of big baskets. Pass inside there, and a tidy layup right there from Mikey Hamilton.
And that's a good little slip screen there. Goes up for the screen and just fades away and goes to the hoop.
All of a sudden, we have a 3-point game here in King Arena with 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Wheaton has gone cold offensively. We'll see what they can whip up on this possession. Coach Jesse living every moment there on the sideline for Augustana. He's loving what he's seen from his team right now.
He's in his own defensive position right there.
Considine going into the lane, and another offensive foul.
Wow.
Eli Considine whistled for the charge. We saw the whistles going in Wheaton's favor early on. Yeah, that's a great call. He was out of the restricted area. His feet were planted. No arguments there. And Augustana with the chance to tie the game on this possession.
Yeah, Wheaton may need a timeout if Augustana scores on this possession to talk things over and figure out how to answer on the offensive side right now.
The last 4 foul calls have all gone in favor of Augustana. Both teams now with 5 overall in this first half.
I think it came right after you said they were staying out of foul trouble.
I jinxed it. It's curse of the commentator. Here is Mikey Hamilton. Tyler Knuth thought about it. Now will take the long shot. Doesn't get it to go. Rebound. And a foul charge to Andrew Williams underneath the hoop going up for that rebound.
And we see both Thunder players there closing out and leaving the Viking unattended to under the hoop.
Substitutions for Augustana here with Colton Gillingham coming back in the game. Vikings will keep the ball underneath the basket with a chance to tie, perhaps even take the lead if they're really lucky, or at least cut it down to a 1-point deficit. Nearly lifted his plant foot there, avoiding the travel call. Here's Hamilton once again on the perimeter. Hands it off to Hanashevsky. Open jumper. Wheaton will be disappointed that no one closed him down, but they catch a break with the shot rimming out.
It's a good strong rebound there by Chevello too.
23-20 Thunder with the slim lead and the ball. And finally, Wheaton gets a foul called in their favor.
The Thunder aren't really looking for their own shot right now. They're kind of getting the ball and looking around on who to pass to. I'd like to see either Considine or Chevello kind of attack the hoop because they're so strong with the ball that if they can get to the rim and draw a foul or get an easy layup.
That last foul was charged to Mikey Hamilton after some hand fighting with Askew. He'll check out of the game for Augustana. Andrew Williams with the ball for Wheaton, slips it inside to Askew. Excuse me, this is Connor Braun now. Matching up against Daniel Carr, tough look. That's probably not the shot you want on an ideal offensive possession for Wheaton. Daniel Carr doing his job there defensively.
He's got good position in the post right there.
Pull-up jumper, that was a smooth play, but Colton Gillingham can't quite get it to go through the hoop. Here's Daniel Carr. Augustana winning the battle on the boards right now. Here's Carr out on the perimeter, leaves it short, and he'll be charged with the foul. Good effort right there from Connor Braun.
It's good position by Braun right there. Turn and try to get in front of him. And Carr will foul him as they're both going for the ball there.
A few changes checking back in for Augustana now, and it looks like Askew will make his way back into the game for Wheaton. Wheaton now in the bonus as that was the 7th team foul for Augustana, so Braun will shoot 1, perhaps 2 from the line here.
A pretty low-scoring half right now. Both teams only around 20 points, 23 for Wheaton, 20 for Augustana, with just over 5 minutes left to go in this first half.
Yeah, this game has certainly ebbed and flowed. Wheaton got off to the hot start offensively. Then right as they started cooling down, Augustana started hitting their shots. It's become a much more even contest as Braun gets the first free throw in.
Yeah, it seemed like Wheaton only scored about 6 points in the last 10 minutes almost.
Braun goes 2 for 2. The lead is back up to 5, and now Askew will take his place.
This is a good physical lineup for Wheaton on the court now. You got Askew, Chevello, Scott, Williams, and Considine. We'll probably see either Scott or Williams be the main ball handler for Wheaton and try to create something.
Last 5 minutes of the first half is always a critical stretch of any game, but especially one like this, a key conference matchup. Wheaton had the big lead, seeing it mostly disappear, although they do still lead by 5. And almost got another wedged ball there between the rim and the backboard. Wheaton comes away with the rebound. Considine in some space, but elects not to force the quick 3. Here's Andrew Williams at the top of the key. Going inside, he's got 3 defenders on him. Someone's got to be open, and that someone is Eddie Scott. Beautiful find from Andrew Williams with the backdoor pass, and Eddie Scott with the easy layup.
Yeah, that was great patience by Williams there as he drove to the hoop. He felt the double team come in the trap, and he's like, I know somebody's going to be open. Took an extra second and found Scott right under the rim.
Quick hands there from Askew, but it will stay with the Vikings. And that's a much-needed possession and basket there for the Thunder. I think Coach Schauer will be pleased with how that series transpired, finally kind of breaking their offensive duck there. This is Chase Larson into the lane, kick out to Nicholas Giliberto, splashes in the 3, and the lead is back down to 4. A big shot for the Vikings.
Yeah, they just won't go away right now. Wheaton needs to close out this half well, try to extend the lead up to double digits before they head to the locker rooms.
Eddie Scott fakes the pull-up, goes inside, floater, rolls it in. Eddie Scott on fire tonight.
Able to absorb the contact and have a great finish with a little floater. And good defense there by Scott, too, as the Viking was driving to the hoop.
Yeah, he was arguably the standout performer for Wheaton in their dominant win at Lake Forest a week or 2 ago, and I think that was the kind of performance to get his season up and running. You can tell the confidence is flowing now for the senior guard. Turnaround jumper, unlucky roll there for the Vikings, but Wheaton won't care. That's a big defensive play once again by Considine. He comes down with the rebound, and then Scott is fouled in transition.
They kind of kept the ball out in front of him, and Ambrose was able to see that and try to reach in there, but instead fouled him. And Scott will go to the line now for a 1-and-1.
Another common substitution pattern here for Wheaton with Braun and Schneider's checking back in. Two delayed subs here for Augustana before Scott can shoot these free throws. Icing the shooter a little bit, perhaps.
Now we're seeing Coach Jesse kind of just make normal substitutions and not big units at a time. But as I say that, we see Hanashevsky come in for Ambrose.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Yeah.
Scott trying to win the race to 30 here for Wheaton. 29-23 lead with just over 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Misses that one, and rebound for Daniel Carr. Must be said, good Augustana turnout here tonight. It is not a short drive over from Rock Island on the other side of the state, but the Vikings travel well. Here's Daniel Carr, halves the deficit with another big three.
You gotta know where he is at all times because he will kill you from deep.
Daniel Carr living up to his reputation so far. One of the multiple standout players so far for Augustana, coming up with some big shots. Can Wheaton find an answer here on this series? Connor Braun hands off to Scott. Eddie Scott driving inside, quick feet, but rejected at the hoop. That was Matt Hawkins coming up with the key block for Augie. Pushing the pace and a big lay-in. Considine hits the deck, no whistle there. That's a 2 for Augustana. Matt Hanashevsky pushing the pace, and it's a 1-point game.
A little bit of a miscommunication on the fast break there on who was going to get ball, who's going to get the other man, and both go to the other man, and Hanashevsky had an easy drive to the hoop.
Connor Braun looking for options out in the perimeter. He finds Eddie Scott. Schneider's with some space, decides not to go with the 2. He got around Hamilton, but then lost his footing, and that's a big turnover for Augustana.
And without Cruikshank on the floor right now, Wheaton is struggling to find someone to control the pace and control the tempo on the offensive side and someone to get their bucket.
That's a good point. Cruikshank has been on the bench for a significant portion of the first half. We're seeing him on the sideline for longer than we normally do. We'll see if he has a larger role to play in the second half. Augustana with a chance to take their first lead of the game on this possession. Little miscommunication once again defensively, but that was a poor effort from Hanashevsky off the backboard. Wheaton lives to fight another day with this 1-point lead. Here's Braun on the perimeter. Chevelle at the top of the key, turning around mid-dribble to get some directions from Coach Schauer. Considine as the shot clock creeps under 10. Here's Andrew Williams. He'll get to the hoop, and a big lay-in. Boy, Andrew Williams has been a super sub multiple games already this year for Wheaton, providing some really valuable minutes in Cruikshank's absence.
He is definitely the spark plug for the Wheaton Thunder team. Always having valuable minutes on the court.
I mean, shooter's touch. That's high-level basketball right there from Daniel Carr. Lead back down to 1.
Yeah, he felt the contact on the baseline, was able to spin to his dominant side, and easy hook shot for him.
Penultimate possession of the first half here as we hit 30 seconds remaining in this opening period here in King Arena. Connor Braun, that's not his shot. Long distance 3 blocked by Daniel Carr. Augustana with the chance to hold for the last shot and grab a halftime lead despite trailing for almost an entire segment of this first half.
This is quite the surprise after being down 10 points early, down 1 with 10 seconds left to go in the first half.
Hanashevsky splits the trap. Oh, what a rejection. Nick Chavello. The bank is closed. Andrew Williams nearly hits the buzzer beater. That would have been the perfect end of the first half for Wheaton. But you can see what that did to Coach Schauer. That Wheaton bench is animated as we get another look here. Nick Chavello.
It seems like he has a big block every single game, and that came at the perfect time. You know, going into the locker room up 1 off of that Chavello block, and Williams almost cashing in from deep at the buzzer. It would have been huge for the momentum for the Thunder, but it looks as though they'll have some momentum their way as they're up 1 heading into the locker rooms.
31-30 lead for Wheaton heading into this halftime break. Boy, have we had an entertaining first half here in King Arena. We hope you'll come back to join us for part 2. We will see you after halftime.
I think one of the fun things about deciding where to go to college is that all of your peers are in kind of the same place. Remember, other people have done this, other people have gone before me and will come after me and are going through it with me now, but it's not as isolating as it may feel. I didn't really know what I was looking for at first. It started with me just scrolling through website after website of colleges. I knew I wanted something that was medium-sized. I knew that I wanted a strong natural sciences department. I knew that I wanted to be challenged academically inside the classroom, but I also didn't want life to stop in the classroom. I'm grateful that I was able to visit as many schools as I did. A large part of my decision to attend Wheaton was influenced by my campus visit. What instantly stood out to me was that everyone on campus was smiling. I felt welcomed, I felt appreciated, seen, and wanted. And so the application process itself was really joy-filled. The decision process was quite a different story. I got the decisions and acceptances and rejections back, and rejections stung. I became very stressed. I started to question, do I want to keep going to school? Do I want to go far? Do I want to come closer to home? And that's where I really started to ask, okay, what are the options remaining before me? And Wheaton was again at the top. I started to work with Ellen, my admissions counselor. I just worked with her really closely and had several hour-long phone calls just talking through what does a Wheaton education look like, what is the value of a Wheaton education, and got to have personal conversations and interactions. So even during a time that was really stressful, I felt valued and seen as a whole person rather than just a GPA and test scores.
Neuroscience is the study of probably the most unique organ on the planet, the human brain. What does it mean to be a human person? And then what does it mean to live the good life as a result of understanding that? Where a vast majority of the work is right now is helping cure neurodegenerative disease. Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and our National Institute of Health has been pouring money into trying to understand these diseases. There is a lot of hope for discovery that can really impact somebody's life. It's very easy for an undergraduate student to get involved in research. One of my more recent grads is working with one of the top spinal surgeons in the country, and because of his experience doing research here, he was able to just work his way right into that lab. A majority of my students go on to med school, but I had a physics student who is working for Tesla. We've had philosophy students, and we've had folks from the Bible and theology department come in and really press us hard to be precise about how we're talking about what it means to be a human person. A student in our conservatory here took one of my classes and did a project on the neuroscience of music therapy, and this whole world was opened up. She had a passion for both music and science, and she was able to combine them in a way that she just hadn't seen possible before being here. Any student that is just curious about themselves and the way that they work is going to be really well positioned to study the brain. Faith and science can coexist really well. The unique thing about coming to Wheaton to study neuroscience is the integrative nature of it. You are going to learn about how your brain works and how the cells work and how the neural circuits work, but we won't stop there. We will also teach you about your spirit and your soul and how that might interact with your brain to make you who you are. And so I hope that we're putting students out into the world that can answer the big neuroscientific questions, but then can also challenge their colleagues and their audiences to think deeper and to think more carefully about what it means to be a human person.
When you're looking at colleges, you may look at the sticker price and say to yourself, I'm not applying to that school because I can't afford it. And I would caution you to not close any doors because there is this price tag that is just out of reach. Cost is an important factor, but there's so many other factors to consider. At Wheaton College, we offer academic scholarships as well as Wheaton Grant, which is need-based aid from the college. So a student may receive scholarships in the range of $10,000 to full tuition. They may also receive significant Wheaton grant based on need, and we determine that, like most institutions do, based on the information that is found on the free application for federal student aid. Colleges aren't commodities. They're not all the same. And there'll be value questions that you have to ask along the way. There's value in knowing that Wheaton alumni have done very well across the board. That we have students from 50 states and over 160-year history. There's value in that. But I also think there's value in the fact that you will be with a group of peers who are excellent in their academic endeavors, but also who love Jesus Christ. You are not just a student who is performing well in the classroom, but that you are a person that has great potential to serve God's kingdom. You're going to be challenged to grow in your faith because you want to be tested and you want to understand what your theological non-negotiables are. So think about the community you're going to be a part of and how they're going to engage you. We want to challenge you to think about why you believe what you believe by people who will encourage you and motivate you. This is an investment that has strong return, not just for you in terms of career, but for you as a follower of Jesus Christ who will be called to great things. Let us work closely with your family. Let us find out more. We work with great expectation and with hope. We do not want to give up on your calling to be at Wheaton College.
Wheaton College Summer Institute is basically this 2-week event in which students from all over the world can participate. It does a very good job of integrating education, social life, and spiritual life into a very safe environment.
There's so many course offerings, from Shakespeare to music to visual arts to theology.
Each student picks a class and they really hone in on a specific subject.
And we're kind of getting a foretaste of the college experience.
So we're sleeping in the dorms and we eat in saga. It's the full experience, but only for a 2-week period.
And they give college credit. When looking at whether or not to do this, I was like, there's no downside.
The schedule is incredible.
I've spent a lot of time in class, probably about 4 hours a day, but also a lot of time hanging out.
Then we're going for ice cream and we're going into Wheaton.
You enjoy it, you have fun, you get to meet new people.
And what I like about it a lot is that the people are so accepting. The people will just take you as you are and won't criticize you or judge you.
The relationships I've built with people here have been really valuable.
Here, I'm always with someone, I'm always talking, I'm always having a great time, I'm always learning.
And at the same time, building that community with these people who are so different. With people from Colombia and Mexico and Texas and North Carolina. But we can all, find that kind of center of what we all believe and build relationships from that.
Wheaton College Summer Institute is a place where you will grow in your faith, meet very extraordinary people, and learn something you're passionate about.
It has the potential to be so formative that there's no way you shouldn't do it.
Someone who is insatiably curious will thrive in a Christian liberal arts environment. Being a Christian liberal arts student causes you to expect to encounter God and expect to encounter dialogue with other disciplines. I think it creates a posture of wonder, and that's just a great thing for every aspect of life. I was in Calc 1, and my professor was having us read through Romans 12 in Calc 1. And it really invited me to see God at work and to prepare my heart, even in those first few minutes of class, to recognize and say, God is here, and do I have eyes to see him? And do I have eyes to see the way that he's at work? They don't say that any discipline is off limits from God, or that God is off limits from any discipline. Wheaton really does prime you to be a very well-rounded student that's able to think about questions from many different angles, and not just provide a cookie cutter answer, but really engage with content in a deep and meaningful and intentional way. I got one-on-one time with professors, and they not only cared about my studies, but they also cared about my spiritual well-being and about how I was doing personally. The opportunity to have professors that are spiritual mentors and have PhDs in Old Testament or quantum mechanics or poverty and international relations is amazing. And you get the opportunity to interact with so many other students of different disciplines that all love Jesus and want to love and worship him in what they do. And that's amazing too. And I love Wheaton. Wheaton invited me to dig deep into both the scientific learning I was doing and dig deep into my faith. I have grown in my ability to offer all of myself to the practice that I'm doing as an act of worship. That's what the Christian liberal arts can help form in you, is to do everything to the glory of God.
All right, folks, welcome back inside King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College as we get set for the second half of this CCIW men's basketball opener between the Wheaton Thunder and the Vikings of Augustana College. Dalton, it has to be said, we saw a seesaw first half, but the momentum really with the away team with the way that they closed out that first period.
Yeah, Wheaton came out hot early in the first half, scoring 18 points quick, and then scored only 13 points at the rest of the half, basically 13 points over 12 minutes. So we'll hopefully see Wheaton come out of this half geared up to extend this lead and get another win.
Not surprisingly, Augustana's Daniel Carr leading all players with 10 points, the only player to hit double digits on the scoreboard in the first half. He's been an offensive threat. Wheaton, a pretty balanced approach so far. TJ Askew with 7 points, all of those coming really early on in the game. As Dalton said, the Thunder cooling off offensively down the stretch. If it wasn't for a monster block by Nick Chiavello in the last 5 seconds of the first half, Augustana would have the lead right now. The Vikings coming in with a record of 1-4, but as I said at the very top of the broadcast, that mark is a bit deceiving. A couple of their losses coming to really legit national contenders so far this year, and they are looking to spring the upset on the road here tonight.
Yeah, and their record, as you said, doesn't show how good they are, especially as we can tell that they're only down 1 to the 21st team in the nation. And it's worth noting that Tyson had 2 fouls in the first half, so he sat for most of the first half, only played 11 minutes, and then it showed in Wheaton's lack of production on the offensive side.
As Dalton said to me off air before we sat down and started this broadcast, Wheaton, they're in the middle of a 4-game home stretch, but when you look at the opponents that they're playing, they've got top 20 teams, Calvin and Elmhurst, coming to town in the next couple of games. Augustana, tricky conference opener. This is a tough run of games here for the Thunder. They'll be looking to build some momentum off of their last 2 wins. Both sides coming up fruitless with their first possessions of the first half as we see Eddie Scott's layup get blocked away for an Augustana rebound. Vikings with the chance to grab their first lead of the game here on this possession.
It's good defense from Wheaton so far, working them down to just 10 seconds left under the screen. And
that's a wide open 3 for Colton Gillingham at the top of the key, and the Vikings do have their first lead. Correction, that will be a 2. I guess his foot was on the line. 32-31 edge now for Augustana.
You know, it's hard sometimes for us to see the line in the orange three-point arc painted onto the court. It's a little difficult for us to see sometimes. Oh, great find by Tyson, but a block from Carr on Considine.
Daniel Carr, the party pooper there. Wheaton fans getting ready to celebrate that beautiful dish from Cruikshank, but Carr reading it beautifully and rejecting Considine at the rim. That was a decent look there for Tyler Knuth on the baseline as Wheaton looks to push the pace up to the other end. Chevello can't get the quick transition layup to go. Both teams struggling from the floor here early on, apart from that long jumper a second ago for Augie. We'll see what they can do here. Looks like Eddie Scott got a touch on the ball. It's a bit of a harsh foul call. We'll see the replay here. He did come in with 2 hands. That might be the reason the referees blew the whistle.
Maybe you just got him on the left arm. We can't really tell from that angle there, but we'll have a timeout on the floor, and Eddie Scott will pick up a foul, and Hanashevsky will go to the line.
A minute 39 into this second half. Augustana with a 1-point lead and a chance to extend it from the charity stripe, as Dalton said. We'll see what kind of adjustments Wheaton can make, really at both ends of the floor. They opened the game. Their scoring was impressive. They got out to that hot start, but their defense was really what stood out in that first 5 or 10 minutes. And then Augustana just kind of settled into their groove. Coach Jesse made some big adjustments at the offensive end of the floor. Augustana started seeing their shots fall more and more, and Wheaton just really cooled off.
Yeah, I'd like to see Wheaton be a little more aggressive on the offensive side, taking it to the hoop. I mean, we saw in the fast break that they're taking it to the rim, but when they're in set pieces on the offensive side, on the half-court offense, they're kind of just passing it around the three-point arc, not really looking for their shot. Just see if they could be a little more aggressive and either get to the line and earn their points there or drive and kick. That's where Wheaton thrives, is when they're driving to the hoop and either having a double team crashing on them and kick out to the open shooter, or be able to get to the line themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point about the importance of driving in for the hoop, not settling for the three. Obviously, Cruikshank with a couple of big three-pointers in that first half, but Wheaton weren't relying on the deep shot. They had a lot of success in and around the basket in the lane. We'll see if they go back to that style here as the second half progresses.
Especially with the backdoor cuts they're getting too. We saw a few in the first half from Scott and Williams, and we saw that one to open up the second half here with Constantine, who unfortunately got blocked, but that backdoor cut's always going to be there for them.
Hanashevsky sees his first free throw rim out.
The student section was a little quiet on that first free throw. It's pretty...
Gotta say, maybe it's the Wednesday night thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not in full weekend mode. I got to imagine the crowd for this matchup against Calvin this weekend, number 17 team in the country, undefeated so far, the Calvin Knights this season. This is going to be a great atmosphere in King Arena for that one. You won't want to miss that one. Dalton Van Esselstyn back on color commentary, joined by Josh Beisel on play-by-play for that game. That should be a fun Saturday night encounter. Kick out to Considine for three, gets it to go. Big time find from Cruikshank, and Wheaton reclaims the lead.
There it is. That's great offense. I mean, driving to the hoop, kicking out for the wide open three, and Constantine was there to bury it.
I think they had a microphone hooked up to what you were saying during that last time out. Taking notes here for my partner. Foul on the floor here for Wheaton.
That will be Tyson's third. And we're going to see Andrew Williams come in quick with Tyson picking up his third foul early into the second half.
Yeah, you can see what he thought about that call, but he will be charged with it. And as you said, Andrew Williams taking his place. That's a big miss on the floor right now. The veteran leader, point guard, checking out for Wheaton. Good inbounds play right there, and Chase Larson splashes it in. Augustana goes back up by one. Perfectly drawn up play coming out of that inbounds pass.
And the foul trouble will definitely be the storyline for Wheaton this second half. Who's going to step up and be that leader on the court, that Tyson, without Tyson out there, and who's going to find the basket?
Cross-court pass there. Askew looking for Considine. Here's Chevello underneath the hoop. Back out to Considine. Eli will take the three and gets it. Eli finding his shooting touch here in the second half.
That's a huge three right there. More momentum going Wheaton's way after the inbound basket from Augustana. Two early threes from Considine.
Yeah, he was 1 for 1 in the first half from deep. He's already splashed in a couple so far this half. That's good defense. But Augustana get their own rebound. That was Tyler Knuth underneath the hoop. Comes to Daniel Carr. And it looked like a clean swipe from Chevello. He is not happy with that whistle. We'll get a look at the replay here. Oh, yeah, that's
great hands by Chevello. That should not be.
He did not do a lot wrong there.
Oh, and he's trying to ask the refs what did he do, because he really didn't think he did anything, and Coach Schauer saying the same thing.
It looked like a clean swipe when we saw it live, and the replay just confirmed it. Daniel Carr, a bit fortunate here to be on the free throw line for Augustana. 2 big shots coming up for the visitors.
Makes the first one there. Just kind of kills the momentum that Wheaton had. Free throws really do that to you.
Misses the second one, so he can't take full advantage, and now Chavella will draw the foul, evening it out from the referees.
A foul on Larson there as they were scrambling for the rebound. We'll see a light press from Augustana.
You can see Chavella's facial expression there. I think he was still looking for an explanation on that foul call.
Yeah.
Wheaton will be relieved that Carr at least missed one of his 2 free throws. But it is only a 1-point lead here for the Thunder as the Vikings are putting up quite a fight here in King Arena. Here's Askew. He draws the foul from his opposite number. That's Tyler Knuth, charged with the shooting foul. Askew will head to the line.
We're seeing a lot more aggression from Wheaton early in this first half, which is great. We see a good soft screen from Constantine there. Askew able to drive into the paint, draw the foul, get himself to the line where he's been a good shooter so far this year, shooting 83% from the free throw line, 7 points in the first half, and he makes the first.
He does lead the team in free throw percentage so far this season. Coach Schauer will always be pleased when Askew is the player going to the line. And he gets both here. 39-36 lead now for the Thunder.
Trading baskets early.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster start to the second half, which is how the first half ended. Augustana doing really well to work their way back into the game after a big deficit early on in the game. Here's Carr at the top of the key, marked closely once again by Constantine, and a little miscommunication there with Hanashevsky, and it will be a turnover in favor of the Thunder.
The Wheaton bench is getting fired up right now. Tyson's cheering them on from the sideline at the moment, trying to get them fired up and keep the aggression and keep the momentum their way.
Yeah, in a hard-fought physical contest like this against an opponent that's making things tricky for you, you need any momentum boost you can possibly find. Turnovers have been pretty few and far between as you see Andrew Williams launch it from the top of the key. Eddie Scott coming up with a big rebound. Scott turning the rebound into points. That's big play right there from the guard. Wheaton back up by 5.
That's what crashing the offensive boards does for you. It creates a lot of opportunities in a scramble for the ball, and Scott was able to find it there, and Wheaton goes up 5 with just over 16 minutes left to go as Coach Jesse's going to want to call a timeout and talk things over.
Yeah, he was not shy about going to those timeouts early on in the first half when Wheaton jumped out to their big lead. We're seeing a little bit of the same here. It's only a 5-point edge for the Thunder right now, but the momentum swinging back in favor of the hosts. We'll see if Augustana can hit the reset button coming out of this next stoppage.
In other CCIW news, Elmhurst is playing IWU tonight. Illinois Wesleyan at Elmhurst, and Elmhurst is down 28-41 with the second half starting up right now. So the 11th ranked Blue Jays are down at home to the unranked Illinois Wesleyan.
That is a surprise scoreline with the way both teams have started the year. I don't think many people would have expected that in Elmhurst conference home opener. Wheaton women on the road in Augustana tonight. These two programs facing off against each other. That game in Rock Island. Wheaton with a 29-19 halftime lead as they look to extend their 5-game win streak and get off to a first win in CCIW play. Augustana played spoiler here last year in conference play, as we mentioned earlier on. The only CCIW team to beat Wheaton here in King Arena. They're trying to do the same again as we see Askew whistled for the foul.
This conference is just so much fun because there's a lot of good competition. I mean, Augustana, who was 6th in the conference last year, beating Wheaton twice, and they just show that they're, even though they're not the best team in the conference, they still can provide fits on any given night.
And we saw so many classic conference games last year. Wheaton Illinois Wesleyan here was a classic. Both the games against Elmhurst came down to the final possession. 3 CCIW teams making the Sweet 16 at the last national tournament, proving the depth of this conference, as you pointed out. And that was Matt Hawkins with an important jumper there for Augustana, get it back down to a 3-point game.
Illinois Wesleyan kind of spoiled the party at the Sweet 16 for the Thunder. It's Andrew Williams with a tough take to the rim. What a great finish for him.
Good find by Scott, good finish for Andrew Williams. Thunder back up by 5 after that nice possession.
I'm fine with them trading baskets if they can keep it going on the offensive side, but need to find some answer on the defensive side, and they get a good miss there.
Matt Hawkins will be wondering how that one did not fall. He did everything right, but the ball couldn't fall. Eddie Scott, stop that! Filthy driving to the lane right there from the senior.
A little fake pass to Chavello on the baseline and an easy finish at the rim.
Eddie Scott and Andrew Williams coming up big in Cruikshank's absence tonight. He's in foul trouble on the bench with 3, but there hasn't been a big drop-off in the guard play as we see Daniel Carr. That is big boy basketball.
And he's so talented as he gets to the block, able to finish in at any angle, basically.
45-40 under the 15-minute mark here remaining in the game as we see a foul as Eddie Scott was driving in. Augustana charged with their third of the second half. And substitutions checking in for both teams.
And as Williams was driving to the hoop there, he did a great job of pushing the ball in front of him with the defender on his hip and able to draw the foul.
Here is Williams now with the ball, matched up against Evan Ambrose.
I'd like to see Williams post up because Ambrose is much smaller than him, so if he can get the ball down low, a good find inside to Schneiders.
Schneiders with the turnaround jumper, left it short. Williams coming up with the rebound, and Andrew Williams doing a little bit of everything right now for Wheaton.
Wheaton's being very scrappy on the offensive boards right now. Another miss for Augustana right around the rim.
They're getting some tough rolls off the iron so far. That was Chase Larson coming up just short. Here's Connor Braun, and he draws the foul on Mikey Hamilton.
The way the energy was in the building, I thought Braun was going to pull that from deep.
He thought about it. It was the big men of TJ Askew and Eli Considine who were coming up big for Wheaton in the first half, but the guards have taken this game over with Andrew Williams and Eddie Scott getting the job done for the Thunder right now. Here's Williams again. Offensive foul. He is human after all.
Yeah, Ambrose takes it in the chest right here as Williams lowers his shoulder just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a tough position to put the referee in.
Yeah.
You look a little foolish if you swallow your whistle with there's so much contact. He's thrown his head back after Williams lowered his shoulder. Makes the job a little bit easier for the official there as Augustana draws a big offensive foul on the Thunder.
And it's hard too when the defender's shorter and smaller than the offensive player, so it's easier for them to kind of fall back from the contact. So it makes a really tough call for the official.
It's a deep three there from Anthony Cooper. Big rebound for Wheaton as Williams looks to push the pace here. Chiavello just lost the ball but manages to get it back. Wheaton avoiding disaster there on the quick transition possession.
We'll settle it down right now.
Chiavello gets around his defender, sprints to the hoop, so close to the and one, but he will go to the line for two shots. Good explosion right there from the junior.
He's so strong getting over to his left side with that being his dominant hand. Blows by his defender. Goes up and under, draws the foul, and will go to the line himself.
I meant to point this out right before the halftime intermission after his monster block. Nick Chiavello is a huge Ohio State fan, so I think he sees this blue and yellow, and he's got a little bit of fire in him after what happened on Saturday. He's looking to make up for his Buckeyes loss. Yeah, he is putting an inspired performance so far tonight.
He might drive to Augustana and put a Wheaton flag at their 50-yard line.
Block out all the A's on campus. Goes 1 for 2 at the line. Wheaton now with an 8-point lead. Under 13 minutes left to play in the CCIW opener. Here is Daniel Carr matched up against Connor Braun.
Great defense there by Braun.
Did well to turn Carr away, but Augustana is still in possession. Considine left his feet and gets away with it as Tyler Knuth leaves the layup short. That was one of the rare defensive missteps we've seen from Eli tonight, but he did well to get the rebound in the end. Here he is at the top of the key. Thought about it, instead drives inside on Knuth. Knuth will switch off to Chiavello. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. The junior tries to draw in, but that was a good hand right there from Colton Gillingham just to spring the ball loose. Gillingham on the other side, lost his footing, kicks it out to a wide open teammate for three. Splash! Anthony Cooper with 3 big points.
And that makes the deficit only 6 for Augustana with that big 3 right there. I'm seeing Tyson and Askew getting ready to check back into the game. Probably see the starters out on the court again.
Here's Williams driving into traffic.
It's travel. Yeah.
Another turnover on Williams here as Cruikshank will take his place back in the game. No, he'll come in for Schneiders. Williams will stay on the floor. A couple of changes off the bench there for Wheaton. 6-point deficit for Augustana. They do have the ball with a chance to chip into that, and that's exactly what they do. Soft touch there from Tyler Knuth on the turnaround layup.
Considine went for the steal there, and that's the price you'll pay if you try to jump that inbounds pass into the post.
There's Askew looking to back in on his defender. Excellent turnaround, but doesn't get the shot to drop. And Augie will snap up that defensive rebound. This is Cooper kicking it out. Finds Gillingham, swings it back around the top of the key. Daniel Carr on the outside. We know he can shoot it from deep. This is Evan Ambrose driving into the lane. Easy looking pull up, but can't drop it in. Big rebound there from Williams to keep it alive for Wheaton.
Good of him to save it and tip it out to Cruikshank.
Considine, who's been hot from beyond the arc, but leaves that one well short. And a couple of big offensive boards, but Wheaton can't drop it in. Missed opportunity for the Thunder underneath the hoop. Pushing the pace now. Here's Daniel Carr on the other side. Swings it out. 3 in the corner. Doesn't get this one to fall. That was Anthony Cooper with the hot hand. Little heat check there for the sophomore. And Cruikshank will slow it down.
Wheaton only up 4 with 10 minutes left to go in the second half.
Tyson finds Williams. Beautiful extra pass to Askew. That's good basketball.
Great find by Williams. Good pass out from Cruikshank to Williams on the wing. Extra pass to Askew, and he buries the 3.
Augustana looking for a quick answer. No contact there. That's clean defense there from Considine. And a missed opportunity there for the Vikings to chip back into this lead. Wheaton now with a slightly more comfortable 7-point advantage as we go under 10 minutes remaining in the game.
I'd like to see Tyson take Ambrose off the dribble.
Nice kick out here. Askew again from deep. TJ Askew heating up inside King Arena.
That is such a big 3 from Askew right there, showing that the big man has range too. Not only does Daniel Carr have range from deep, but Askew has a little bit of shooter's touch from deep as well.
Yeah, he has a nice stroke to him. This is kind of been the nature of the game. You blink and suddenly it's a 10-point lead again for Wheaton after being competitive for so long. The Thunder have done well to weather the storm and create another sizable advantage for themselves here on home court, but we got a long way to go, and we know that Augustana are not going to go down without a fight.
And coming out of this timeout, Wheaton needs to keep that momentum their way and extend this 10-point lead and kind of put Augustana to bed in these next few minutes before they let them back into the game.
It does feel like it's going to be a critical sequence coming up here for both teams.
Askew now is leading the game with 15 points. Carr with 13 of his own, but then you got Considine and Scott with 10 of theirs.
Yeah, and Wheaton has really shut down Daniel Carr offensively. Just 3 points so far in the second half. That might be the key for them to close out this victory without too much trouble. Daniel Carr, we know what he can do on both ends of the floor, but especially what he brings underneath the hoop for Augustana offensively. And if Wheaton can continue to keep him off the scoreboard, their job is going to be a little bit easier here down the stretch.
Connor Braun is doing a really good job of keeping Carr's back to the basket, not letting him see much of the floor, and really just doing a good job of taking him out of the game.
Yeah, Braun and Considine both with significant minutes matched up against Carr. They have mostly done their job very well. Here's Augustana looking to get it back down to single digits. This is Hanashevsky. Finds Carr once again matched up against Considine. Looking for the pick and roll there. That was good movement right there. And Colton Gillingham lays it in for 2.
Tyson was smart not to contest right there to get his 4th foul. Okay, giving up that layup.
That's a good point. When you have a 10-point lead, it's 2 points are easier to take than that critical 4th foul that would see him have to spend another spell on the sidelines. Here's Cruikshank kicking it back out. Askew, surely not. And that's Tyson Cruikshank. He started it with the dish out and eventually gets the rebound on the missed 3 from Askew and ends up being a couple of big points there for Wheaton.
And on an air ball, you never know when where the ball's gonna go, if it's gonna drop. And Tyson was able to be right under the rim as the ball kind of went below the net, able to pick it up and put it in.
We are witnessing an interesting exchange right now. In-house DJ John McCraith seems to be taking requests from the Wheaton baseball team that's up in the corner of the stand behind us. He is now singing along to Every Time We Touch, and you can see what the Wheaton cheerleaders in the student section thinks about it. This is the environment we were hoping for in King Arena.
Yeah, Wheaton's getting the crowd back into it with a 10-point lead, 8.5 minutes left to go. It's the energy they need to close out the game.
56-46 edge for the Thunder, looking to avenge last season's home loss to this same opponent. Augustana looking to come back and pull a big upset to kick off their CCIW campaign.
It's definitely something Coach Shower said to the guys during the halftime speech, saying you can't let them hang around, you got to put them away early, and he definitely does not want to repeat what happened last year.
Quick update from Rock Island. The Wheaton women's basketball team, 7-point lead over Augustana, 45-38 in the second half. That would be a solid win for the Thunder, as the Augustana women's team looks to be a major contender in the CCIW this year. Here's Carr trying to find a teammate. Little miscommunication there. Eddie Scott comes away with it. Wheaton pushing the pace. Here's Considine down at the other end. Manages to get the shot off, but it wasn't a clean one. Well defended on the break there from Augie, and they've got the ball back in the other half of the floor now.
He was kind of bobbling as he went up and tried to force a shot, unable to get it to go. Good hands by Tyson there on the post up from Carr.
It's Crookshank, and he's looking to push the pace. Crookshank started it with the takeaway and now gets the layup. Tyson providing valuable minutes and points here in this second half.
That's why you need him on the floor. He's the leader. He's where the offense will stem from and just create so much.
That was a nice clean jumper there from Chase Larson to answer for Augustana. And it's a credit to players like Eddie Scott and Andrew Williams that there wasn't a major drop-off in quality when Tyson Crookshank had the long spell on the sidelines in the first half, but it is certainly good to see him back out on the floor now. Here is Eddie Scott going to the hoop, and that's a strong layup right there from the senior.
I mean, he could basically do that every single time if he wanted.
Nice slip pass there for Daniel Carr, and he finally gets back on the score sheet. That was a good find from Gillingham on the assist.
Well, it's really hard to hedge that screen when you know Carr's going to be rolling to the rim, and a good find. An easy layup for Carr.
Here's Considine. Thought about the three. Carr closes him down, so Considine goes inside, and it will stay with the Thunder.
And Braun's going to check in now for Considine. Probably for the matchup for Carr, but now Carr's headed to the bench himself. And he'll be replaced by Mikey Hamilton. And the subs keep coming for Augustana.
A delayed substitution pattern. We saw this a few times in the first half as head coach Jesse wants to switch up the look that he has on the floor. Nice inbound pass and grab by Askew there. Goes around his defender, can't get the shot, but he will head to the line for two shots.
It's a great little inbound play right there. Just lobbed up to the big man and let him create something himself.
Wheaton was 6 of 9 from the free throw line in the first half. They've barely gotten any trips to the charity stripe here in the second, as we see Askew miss the first. We talked about how there is some room for improvement from the free throw line so far this season for Wheaton. Askew makes no mistake with the second, and it is an 11-point lead for the Thunder.
Good defense from Wheaton right now early in this possession. Right as I say that.
Tough jumper right there from Matt Hawkins.
Oh, we get a flop call on.
Oh, good spot.
Hawkins right there. Kicked the leg out and dropped to the ground.
A rare call, but that's exactly what we get. That's a good pickup from you, Dalton, and it will be charged as a technical foul, so there will be free throws here to come for Wheaton. We don't see that call very often. Obviously, that rule change coming into this season, and it feels like that one comes at a critical time for Augustana.
Tyson makes him pay. It's a great rule. I mean, it eliminates that, or is trying to eliminate the flopping. And we saw it once before at a home game earlier this year for Wheaton, and again right here with Hawkins. But not very common at all.
So it looks like they did count the basket, so it's a 10-point lead for Wheaton, 62-52. Wheaton gets the free throw from Crookshank and will retain possession of the ball. Here's Askew with the turnaround jumper. Doesn't get it to go. Big rebound there from Chase Larson. Augustana with the chance to push it back down into single digits. Feel like a basket here could really start some momentum for the Vikings as they look to work their way back in. But Hawkins had his wires crossed there as he got the layoff from Mikey Hamilton, and it will be an important turnover there for the Thunder.
Yeah, mishandled dribble handoff right there. We're seeing Connor Braun mop up a spot on the court. But Wheaton will get the ball and try to extend the lead to more than just 10.
The second half has flown by. It's really been a quick game overall. We were surprised that the first half only took about 30 minutes.
There were a lot of fouls, but not many that just stopped the game for a while.
That's right. Not too many timeouts from either team in that first half. Crookshank pulling up for a long three, and that is a dagger from Tyson. Crookshank coming up with multiple big baskets, especially from beyond the arc so far for Wheaton. He's been the offensive key here in the second half as the lead is pushed up to 13. Here's Hawkins driving in. That's a nice floater. 2 points back for Augustana.
The amount of times Wheaton's either scored or Hawkins, and then Hawkins has gone right down the court and made a basket to silence the crowd.
Yeah, we've seen some really impressive guard play tonight from both teams as the smaller guys are coming up with some clutch baskets here in the second half. Crookshank blows by a defender. Can't get it to go off the glass. He wanted a foul, but Augustana will bring it back down the other way.
Good transition defense there by the Thunder.
Here's Ambrose matched up against Eddie Scott. Great defense right there from the veteran guard. Here's Hawkins once again driving the lane. And Crookshank did get a touch on it, but it comes back off of an Augustana player last, and it will be Wheaton ball. As we see Andrew Williams, Considine, Chavello back on the floor for Wheaton. Under 5 minutes to play here in King Arena in this CCIW opener. Wheaton closing in on making up for last season's home loss to Augustana, but there is still a decent amount of time left to go. This one is not decided. Crookshank trying to decide it single-handedly.
That'll help the decision right there.
This guy is on fire.
Augustana is definitely going to need a timeout after that three by Crookshank, who now has 17 points on the night, averaging 19.5 on the year so far, and showing that even if he has a slow start to the game, he will still get his.
That's a great point. When your team's leading scorer, you've led the team in scoring and assisting the last couple of games. You were just named to the National D3Hoops.com Team of the Week. You don't want to follow that up with a lame duck performance.
Right.
Tyson Crookshank is not having that problem tonight. He has been a monster for the Thunder as they now have their largest lead of the game at 14 points. Coming up on the 4-minute mark here in Wheaton, Illinois. And the Thunder trying to secure their third straight win.
The best part about Tyson's game is not only does he, feed the ball well, but as a great scorer and as someone who can score at will, he doesn't always look for his shot first. He looks to create and find the open man, and it just was really unselfish with the ball, and that just shows great leadership as the fifth-year guard.
That's a great point. You want your veteran guard, your captain of this team, to be lethal when he has to be, but you also want him to be unselfish, and Tyson really walks that line. He strikes that balance well. He's come up clutch for the Thunder down the stretch so far. We'll see what Augustana can come up with out of this timeout. Feels like it's last chance saloon. The Vikings need to make a run here in these next couple of minutes if they want to get something from this game.
And Wheaton has 4 scores in double digits, and that definitely helps build a lead and build a good run for them.
Yeah, balancing out the attack is always good to see. That was definitely present in their wins over Lake Forest and UChicago the last couple of times out. And it happens once again here in King Arena. Coach Schauer will be pleased with that stat sheet. Here's Augustana looking to work their way back in the game. Matt Hawkins tries to split the double team, runs into trouble. Considine with the takeaway, and wisely just pulls it up. I don't think he had a clean look there on the fast break. Wheaton can slow the ball down in possession.
It was a 1-on-3 there, and Considine made the smart decision to say, I'd rather keep this possession going than try to force up a bad layup.
Yeah, at this point, wasting the clock is more important than points on the board as we see Crookshank draw a tough foul there underneath the hoop.
Gets sworn by defenders and gets fouled from behind as he was trying to make a pass. But it'll be Wheaton 1-1 as they are now in the bonus. And this is the man you want at the line.
You know you just jinxed him, right? That's...
Oh,
it was
man.
inevitable. It was inevitable.
I'm sorry to all the viewers.
A mortal miss there from Tyson Cruikshank. He's been on fire in the second half, but leaves one at the line. Step back jumper from Daniel Carr. He's been cold in the second half. Wheaton have really done well to limit his offensive production.
Yeah, a guy who averages 22 points on the season, only having 15 tonight is huge for Wheaton.
You did feel like he was going to be the key standout performer for Augustana if they were going to spring the upset here tonight. Still 3 minutes left to play, but Wheaton closing in on an important first victory in CCIW action. Cruikshank, why not? Why not?
And Coach Schauer is fired up, as I would be if I was him.
I mean, as a head coach, there's not many better sights than watching your veteran guard, one of the leaders of the team, just take over a game.
He's just so talented. It's so much fun to watch. I mean, he deserves to be on that team of the week. He deserves to be an All-American, and he's showing why tonight.
Coming back for a 5th season with the team, he could have left alongside teammates Naomi Adome and Cade Alioth, the big trifecta, who were Wheaton standout performers last season, but elected to come back for an extra year. It's hard to fault that decision so far through this season, as we see Augustana come up with a couple of points on their last possession to cut it back down to 15. Coming up on 2 minutes left here in King Arena.
The way Tyson's shooting right now, I would just give him the ball and get out of the way.
Cruikshank looking for some separation against Matt Hanaszewski. Oh, the soft touch, even the rim's helping him out, saying, yeah, how about 2 more?
I heard a lone voice in the crowd just saying, he's so good, and they are right.
Here's his Highlands Ranch, Colorado counterpart. Daniel Carr kicking it out. That was Chase Larson on the long 3 attempt. And now Wheaton can soak up this victory as they are in a comfortable position with 1.5 minutes left to play. There aren't going to be many CCIW games this year with the depth and the strength of the conference that Wheaton can enjoy the last couple minutes of the game without being worried about the final outcome. Nick Chiavello driving to the rim. It is now a 19-point lead. Oh, no, they're going to wave it off for a travel.
Oh.
Late call there from the referee.
They did the same thing in the John Carroll game when late in the game when Wheaton was down and Chiavello drove.
That's a great point.
Got the fast break layup. And they waved that off for a travel as well.
Yeah, that ended up being a pivotal call at the end of the game as Wheaton suffered their first and so far only loss of the season. As we see the rear guard action, backups coming into the game now. Jacob Schauer leading the team in the point guard position. Nate Sock, Daniel Garza, it's a whole new 5. Andrew Williams still on the floor for Wheaton. And Cole Reed making up the 5th body on the floor for the Thunder. Nice extra pass there. Good ball movement here from Augustana. No connection on the 3-pointer, and it will stay with the Vikings out of bounds.
And with 56 seconds left to go in the game, it's pretty much just a formality as Wheaton up 17. It's highly unlikely that Augustana will do anything to make this game competitive in this last minute.
I would say stranger things have happened, but with this large of a deficit, I'm not sure they have. That would be quite impressive if they were able to work it back in now. That's a good drive to the hoop right there for Matt Hawkins. Gets the and one. A couple of big points there for Augie.
You can see Coach Schauer grimace a little bit just at that and one right there.
Well, Dalton, you pointed out in the first half, Wheaton holding opponents to 59.7 points per game so far. They are right around that mark now. We talked about if you can hold this Augustana team under 60 points, that's going to make your life a lot easier. And they may eventually crack 60, but Wheaton coming up with enough offensive production down the stretch to pull away in this one. It's not all bad news for the Vikings fans as their women's team has come back to take the lead against Wheaton 50-49 with 3.5 left to go in Rock Island. Great conference opener on the other side of the state and the women's game. Shot clock down to 7. Andrew Williams with the ball. Taken away by Matt Hawkins. He'll get a run out, easy layup or dunk. We'll see what he goes with.
Now Wheaton can just dribble out the clock.
And that'll do it for this one. Your final score from King Arena here in Wheaton, Illinois. Wheaton 75, Augustana 61. It was nervy at halftime. Augustana ended the first half on top, but Wheaton exploded out of the gates in the second, and they end up securing a comfortable win. Dalton Van Esseston will step aside to do the on-court WTSN interview with Coach Schauer. as the Thunder earn their third straight win to improve to 6-1 on the season, 1-0 in conference play. Augustana falls to 1-5 and 0-1 in CCIW action. Be sure to check back in at 7 p.m. on Saturday night as Wheaton hosts number 17 Calvin in a high-quality non-conference matchup here in King Arena. You won't want to miss that one. 1 week later, they host Elmhurst in a massive CCIW matchup here. Your final score, once again, 75-61 from King Arena. We will toss it down to Dalton Van Esselston on the floor, who is now joined by Wheaton head coach Mike Schauer.
I'm on the floor here with Coach Schauer. Coach Schauer, great way to open up the conference play. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, pretty pleased, more or less. You know, we hadn't had that kind of foul trouble yet, where both Tyson and TJ were off the floor for 8 to 10 minutes of that first half, and I thought we really struggled a little bit offensively, but was really pleased when it kind of happened again in the second half. You know, I thought guys were a little more aggressive and trying to make plays. I thought Eddie and Andrew, Eli, TJ hitting a couple big threes. If we're making shots, we're a pretty difficult team, and was a little disappointed to get to 61. I mean, we haven't given up. You know, we're becoming a pretty substantially good defensive team. We just, you know, Eli was just so good tonight. Daniel Carr is among the 10 best players in the country. He's an impossible matchup. And Eli, you know, 5 inches shorter, really fought him and made it tough. He still got his points, but Eli made it tough.
Thank you, Coach Schauer. Well, Wheaton gets the win here tonight at home, 75-61. That opens up conference play for them. Come back on Saturday night as Wheaton will play Calvin University, the 17th team in the nation. And then next Saturday, they'll face the undefeated Elmhurst Blue Jays, number 11 in the country. For WTSN and Gabriel, I'm Dalton Van Esselston. Enjoy the rest of your night.